to this room. My name is Evan. I'm the education program leader here at the National Music Center. I've been doing that for about 8 years. So actually I'm used to a sea of grade 3 students, 8-year-olds. Usually they're studying sound science and we're putting instruments in their hands to talk about pitch and volume and all that stuff. So if it seems like I'm quizzing you or going over curriculum connections at any point, I do apologize. That's just where I live. But you are here to see this wonderful instrument. This is called the Kimball theater organ. Now that's a big name for an instrument, so let's break it down. It's the Kimball organ because it was built by the Kimball organ factory. So if it was built by Wurlitzer, it would be a Wurlitzer theater organ. And then it's a theater organ instead of a pipe organ because it was built specifically to be installed in a movie theater. How many people have seen a silent film before? For the rest of you, have you ever watched a movie on mute? Because it's boring. It's really boring to watch a movie without sound. So you probably know they didn't play them silently. They'd invite musicians into the movie theater to play along with the movie. You could have a piano player, a small band, or if you wanted a big surround sound, you could install a theater organ in your space. Now, right now, I have it set so that when I press these keys, it's blowing a whole bunch of air through these pipes. There are over 600 pipes back there to help me produce sound. That seems like way too many pipes. Actually, there's an organ a few blocks that way that has over 6,000 pipes, so it does vary quite a bit. But it is a great big sound. When I play all of them all the time, you kind of want to hear what they sound like on their own, right? Because they're different shapes, different sizes, and they do sound like different things. Often, they're imitating other instruments. Can you guess what kind of instrument these pipes are imitating? Did you guess what kind of instrument was that? Trumpet, right? That's actually it's what it says on my stop. This is my trumpet stop. These are my brass instruments. So it's a nice, it's a nice brass timbre, a little bit mechanical. The start and stop, maybe a horn. It doubles as low brass too. Tuba, little tiny trumpets. So all those ones. Let's try another one. What kind of instrument are these pipes imitating? Right? That probably popped out for you right away because for me this sounds exactly like a flute. In fact, you've probably blown air into recorders before. You know the hole near the top is sort of rectangular? You can see that same hole on a lot of these pipes. So you can think of these pipes as just upside down recorders, no holes, different sizes. I have little tiny ones for my piccolo. And then great big ones. I have a malfunctioning bass drum today, so every time I press it, it goes, even if I don't want it to. So if I'm startled by the fact that the drum is hitting, that's why. But let's ignore the fact that the drum is hitting, and then do you hear this low pitch? This is also technically a flute. I like these low frequency ones because you can really feel the vibration through your entire torso. Let's try another one. This one's a bit trickier, but what kind of instrument? Guesses? Strings. That's a good guess because that's right. It's my violin stop. Most people are like pretty cold on that as a violin sound. I agree that it's not very violin, especially after the flute. That's a pretty weak violin. It sounds like a synthesizer violin. I do have another trick because it is so mechanical. Like violin sounds are never that steady, so I have So you heard the waver in the note, that's my vibrato stop. You might be able to see that there's these boxes that are jiggling up and down. That's how it creates that vibrato sound. It's like it's singing and shaking at this, like, oh, that's what it's doing. It just gives the note a little bit more life. That's why the violinists shake their hand or opera singers waver the note. Yeah, it's just combating that mechanical sound that you get with air going through pipes. Let's try one more. Can you guess what kind of instrument? This one's really strange. So. Guesses. Bassoon's a great guess. It actually does use a reed, but it's not what it says on my stop. Any other guesses? You'll get it wrong, don't worry. Oboe's a great guess. Also, but not what it says on my stop. Okay, this one is called Vox Humana, or human voice. So I'm sure you're picturing humans singing right now. I think what they're getting at is there's a bit of a wah to it, like a mouth opening, like yeah, no? It sounds like a duck. Or old video games without the scrolling text at the bottom would be like, Star Fox, you must break into the enemy base and do a barrel roll. So that's what it reminds me of. Really, it's the combination of these pipes, how you put them together, that allow you to get so many different sounds out of it. Depending on which pipes I turn on and which ones I leave off, you can get lots of different sounds. Now, this is a theater organ rather than just a pipe organ because it has instruments like this one. So that's a glockenspiel. I also have the xylophone. As well as a marimba. So that's where the instrument starts to get really exciting for me. Like, you don't usually have that much facility over mallet instruments. You can hold the 2 sticks, maybe the 4, but I can get full crunchy. Marimba chords, I have the 2 settings too, like single hit or rapid fire. That sounds like I'm working really hard, but I'm not. Just holding the finger down. And then rounding out the mallets, I have chimes. These are actually sticks going out to hit things, right? So it got ahead of me in that you already know that this is going to be able to control that. So yeah, I can use my bass drum. I also have a cymbal. I have a snare. So this whole section together is called the toy box, which I think is an excellent name. It has things like the wood block. And this can be sound effects too, right? The person's knocking on the door, or they get clocked in the head. That's my bird whistle. That's just a pipe submerged in liquid, so the air has to gurgle out. I also have castanets, tambourine, the tom drum, the snare tap, and a triangle. That was the bass drum. So these are all the ingredients that the organist has available to them. And you actually would have seen none of this stuff. It would have been behind the walls in a box. The only thing you would have seen is this white console at the front of the stage, often on a raising, lowering platform, so it could come up, they'd do a number, then it would go down, the movie would start, and then, you know, they'd have to match emotionally what's happening on the screen. They'd have to play the happy music when it's happy, and the sad music when it's sad. And at first you think, like, how can you play music with emotion? But then you say it out loud, you're like, well, all music has emotional baggage, right? Like that piece I played at the beginning, like what image popped into your head when you heard that theme? Because it was probably similar for all of us. Phantom of the Opera, I see the house on the hill with the gnarly trees and the like lightning strikes. It's a haunted house sort of theme. But do you know who wrote this? It was Bach. It was young J.S. Bach. He was 19 years old when he wrote it. And for Bach, organs were the most technologically advanced instruments in the world. They were the loudest, and he was writing music trying to speak to the creator of the universe, right? So Bach's writing music trying to speak to God, and then over time, it takes on this spooky, like, I can guarantee you Bach was not thinking about vampires and ghosts when he wrote that, but it's just taken on that flavor over time. Really, it's just been beaten into us, just like a minor chord sounds sadder than a happy chord. This is just conditioning, it's cultural. So I'm going to play a series of themes that will have cultural significance for you, especially with movies. So think about what scene in the movie these themes might go along with. And then after that, I'll have time for some questions about how this works, what's going on, the history of this instrument, anything that you want to know. One last tidbit, this was installed in a Vox theater, so we like to give it its opening theme. long time. And so what pulling out all the stops actually means on an organ is, it means you're sending air to every single part at the same time. So it's the instrument at its fullest. I brought up Bach before, and he was actually better known as an organist in his lifetime than he was as a composer. He would travel around Germany to try the different organs. And if he came to try the organ in your town or at your cathedral, you would be very honored. But the story goes is that the first thing he'd always do is pull out all the stops. And this would freak you out, because if something's going to go wrong, it's when you're trying to send air to every single part of the instrument at the same time. And I have an electric fan. He had people pumping bellows to get air into this thing. So this is how loud it is with one finger. So let's see. Feet, hands, fingers, all that stuff. If you don't like loud noises, now's the time.